The Fish Who Wanted to See the Sky. Once upon a time, in the clear, endless blue of a sparkling lake, lived a little fish named Finley. Finley was not like the other fish. Most fish in Lake Luster were content to swim among the waving reeds, chase shimmering bubbles, and play hide and seek among the rocks. But Finley dreamed of something more. In the quiet moments, when the water was still and the sunbeams danced down from above, Finley would gaze upward, past the wavering silver surface, and wonder what lay beyond the watery world. What was above the lake? What really was the sky?
Finley's friends would giggle when he asked such things. "The sky?" giggled Goldie, a cheerful goldfish with a twinkle in her tail. "Why, it's just a bright place where the sun lives. It's too far away for fish like us," chimed in Stripe, who loved to race between rocks. "We're made for swimming, not flying."
But Finley was not so sure. He would watch the patterns the sun painted on the water's surface, the gentle ripples and the mysterious shadows. Sometimes when a bird soared overhead, its silhouette would drift across the water, and Finley would feel a tug deep in his heart, a longing he couldn't quite explain. One evening, as twilight settled and the underwater world glowed with a soft silvery light, Finley decided he couldn't wait any longer. He would find a way to see the sky, not just the watery reflection but the real sky, as birds and dragonflies saw it. But how? Fish couldn't fly. Fish couldn't leave the water. Or could they? The next morning, Finley set off on his adventure. He swam past the schools of sleepy minnows, past the waving water lilies, and all the way to the edge of the lake, where the water met the reeds and the world above began. Along the way, he met an old turtle named Tully, who was basking on a sun-warmed rock. "Where are you off to, little Finley?" Tully asked, stretching his neck.
"I'm going to see the sky," Finley replied with a sparkle in his eye.
Tully chuckled. "That's quite the dream. The sky is a beautiful place, but it's not so easy for a fish to visit. Still, every journey begins with a first step, or a first swim in your case."
"Do you know how I can do it?" Finley asked hopefully.
Tully thought for a moment. "Well, some say the sky is just a reflection, a trick of the light. But if you want to get closer, you might try climbing the river Ripple. It flows from the lake all the way to the waterfall. Who knows? At the top, you might just touch the sky." Finley thanked Tully and set off in search of the river Ripple. The river was lively and swift, filled with leaping frogs and darting insects. As Finley entered, the current tugged at his fins, pulling him along faster than he'd ever swum before. He darted through the cool, bubbly water, feeling both excited and a little bit scared. The journey was not easy. The river twisted and turned, sometimes narrowing so much Finley had to squeeze between rocks, sometimes opening wide and deep. He met a family of otters who flipped and played in the eddies, and a wise old heron who stood still as a statue, watching the water with sharp eyes. As the river climbed higher, the water grew colder and clearer. Finley began to see things he'd never seen before: ferns arching over the banks, dragonflies zipping through the air, and every so often a glimpse of the sky above, bright and endless and blue. At last, Finley came to the base of the waterfall. The water thundered over the rocks, sending up clouds of mist that sparkled in the sunlight. Finley's heart pounded. Could he really leap high enough to see the sky? Taking a deep breath, Finley swam as fast as he could, gathering speed with every flick of his tail. He shot toward the surface, pushing past his fears. Up, up, up he went, bursting out of the water in a shower of glimmering droplets. For a brief, dazzling moment, Finley soared through the air. The world sparkled all around him. The green of the trees, the white of the clouds, the golden disk of the sun, and the endless welcoming blue of the sky. Finley felt lighter than a feather, braver than he'd ever been. And then, with a gentle splash, he landed back in the river, heart pounding with happiness. Finley knew he could not stay in the sky forever. Fish belonged in the water after all. But in that one perfect leap, he had seen what he had always dreamed of. He had touched the edge of the sky. As Finley made his way home, he felt different. The lake seemed brighter,
the water warmer. When he returned, his friends gathered around, eager to hear about his adventure.
What was it like? Goldie asked, eyes wide.
It was brighter than the shiniest pebble, wider than the biggest wave, Finley told them. The sky is not just a reflection. It's a place of dreams, so big it makes you feel like anything is possible. From that day on, Finley still loved swimming, playing, and exploring with his friends. But he never stopped dreaming about the sky. And every now and then, when the river ran high and the waterfall sparkled, Finley would swim to the edge and leap, just to see that endless blue again, and to remind himself, and all his friends, that sometimes the biggest adventures start with the smallest dreams. Finley's journey became a story told and retold by the fish of Lake Luster. A story not just about seeing the sky, but about the courage to chase your dreams, no matter how impossible they may seem. As the seasons changed, Finley grew older, but his wonder never faded. He would tell the young fish about his adventure and encourage them to look beyond the water, to ask questions, and to seek out their own dreams.
One day, a little fish named Bubbles asked, "Finley, do you think I could see the sky too?" Finley smiled, remembering his first daring leap. "Of course you can, Bubbles. All it takes is courage, curiosity, and a little bit of hope."
And so, the story of the fish who wanted to see the sky lived on, inspiring new generations to follow their hearts, to leap high, and to believe that even the smallest fish can touch the stars. And every time the sun shone on the lake, painting golden ripples on the water, Finley would look up, smile, and know that somewhere, out there, the sky was waiting, for dreamers just like him. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, Finley's story spread to every corner of Lake Luster. Even the oldest, sleepiest catfish would nod in approval when the tale was retold, and the youngest fry would squeal with excitement, imagining their own journeys. Finley's courage changed more than just himself. The other fish began to look up too, wondering about the world above. Sometimes they would swim together to the surface, watching the colors of the sunset or the dance of the fireflies above the water. The lake felt bigger, more mysterious, and more wonderful than ever. And so, in the shimmering waters of Lake Luster, the legend of Finley, the little fish who wanted to see the sky, reminded everyone that the world is full of magic for those who dare to dream, that even the deepest lake can't hold back a longing heart, and that every leap, no matter how small, is a step closer to the sky. And that, dear child, is the story of Finley, the fish who wanted to see the sky. Remember, no dream is too big, and no wish is too small. All you need is a little courage, a splash of hope, and a heart ready to leap. Now, when you look up at the sky, remember Finley, and know that your dreams can take you anywhere, even to the very edge of the sky.